What is up, everyone? We are back with 15 minutes on Hard Knocks, the Dallas Cowboys edition with Jeff and AB. Once again, it's 15 minutes. We don't have a we don't have a lot of fluff. It was a pretty fun episode. A lot of different storylines, and we'll get into it. AB, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing pretty good. Hey, I'm just glad to be talking about some hard knocks, and then we get into some football soon. I just
And
can't wait for
every
that.
every week we do, man. We're close. Think about it. By the time we do our last one, we're dang near at the first game. So that's a good point. Yeah, me too, man. This one, and I thought this is a good one too. Like I've always loved how they do it. Like they build you up and then they show you the preseason game and kind of tease you on the season that's coming up.
Absolutely.
I like this. I like this episode a lot. There was a couple things I didn't like, but there was a couple things I really liked. So here we go. We'll just start running. We'll just start running down the gamut, man, because I got some great questions for you tonight. First of
Okay.
all, it just opened up. Obviously, the great voiceover. I should know the guy's name by now. He's the best in the business that does the voiceover for Hard Knocks. They do the I don't know what you want to call it, the fly through of what they called the star. You're a
Right.
fan of the Cowboys. Do you know what this complex is in Frisco that they're talking about?
It's basically like it kind of got many. It's got a fitness center. It kind of has it's kind of a strip mall, a little bit of everything. A practice field. It's just like a big thing in the middle of nowhere, Frisco, Texas.
That
And
was wild.
that's
I
how it
thought it
started.
looked really great though, and like how they did it, and they because I've been down to the AT&T Stadium and seen that,
Okay.
and I know what a spectacle that is. But man, that place I didn't even know existed. I had no idea what they were doing. I thought they just did. I thought it just looked cool. Some of this stuff, a lot of this stuff we were talking about the show we're watching. I was look now. Is that a place you're familiar with though, where they were at?
I know about it, but I never got to see a good view
Okay.
of it, like how like the little fly camera was doing. It was just like, I was just amazed. I was like, man, I want to come visit here. I'm like,
Right. I'll tell you a funny story real quick. We went to AT&T Stadium a couple years ago. We went there for the Buckeyes game, and then we stayed for the Cowboys game the next night. And my buddies took a tour of the place, and I've got pictures. one of my buddies sitting in Sean Lee's locker. It's one of the funniest things that I've ever seen. But I remember they took a tour of the stadium, and they were just blown away by how nice it was. Which I got a question coming up about that a little bit, but we'll stay on order here. So I thought the fly
okay,
through was really cool. I thought it looked great. I thought it was a great opening. I thought it was a really great opening for the show, and
absolutely,
and just it really did show you the magnitude of the Cowboys franchise. Like it really is a brand in itself, and they had a lot of Jerry Jones in this episode, really expressing how this is a brand. This is bigger than the NFL. Really, just and I'm sure that was part of it when they said we're going to do Hard Knocks. Jerry's like, we're going to do it. We're going to do it my way. Um, you know
absolutely.
what? I'll just throw this out at you, a little curveball here. How do you
Okay,
feel about Jerry Jones in general as a fan?
he's definitely a big businessman. He's all about the business, but sometimes you just want him just to focus on the business of the brand and actually get a real general manager there, like to manage
I
the team
that's the
aspect.
that's the
That's
question I was looking for because I don't think he's a great general manager. I think he gets caught up in what talent looks like. You know what I mean? Like I think he can be overwhelmed by how fast, how I think he can be just like I've said that about the last 2 weeks about him hiring McCarthy. I think he can buy into the personality and the flash of it and maybe not see through to the next level, or maybe not see the small things that a general manager might do. Not that they don't have a lot of talent. Dallas is loaded. I mean, they have done a good job,
absolutely.
but I don't think I can say that. I don't think I can say for the last 20 years that he's done a great job. I don't know how long he's been the actual general manager. I was just curious how you felt about him. So then they talked a lot about the Isaac. Uh, was it Alarcon? How do you pronounce his last name?
I I think it's Isaac Alcone or something like that.
Yeah, I
I'm
apologize,
probably
Isaac.
butchering it. Same here.
That was a cool story. I didn't know about this. What do you want to call it? The exchange program with the foreign born players. They stressed that you got to meet his family, which that's what Hard Knocks does. I thought it was pretty cool. The guy doesn't look like a bad player. Like just as technically, like I think he's got a chance to maybe make the squad. Definitely practice squad player, but I don't know. I just thought it was kind of cool. And then when he told the story about being in the NFL and how he got there, and everything, and you got to meet his family. I thought it was pretty cool. What'd you think about that part of the show?
Actually, that was one of my favorite parts of the show.
Nice.
Getting to see who Isaac was. You absolutely had to read through the what's it called,
The
subtitles and
subtitles.
stuff,
Yeah.
and sometimes would come a little fast, but you got an idea who Isaac and his family was, and then
Yeah.
you finally get to see highlights of him. It's like he's a talented player. He's a tall guy playing guard. He's
Yeah.
just trying to get set and the problem is he sometimes stands up high. That's what a lot of tall guys do sometimes.
Yeah, he's really tall for a guard. He looks more like a tackle,
He did.
obviously. But in today's NFL, like it's not like it was. But he also he looks strong. He looks really strong.
He does.
He's going to have good, good hands and things like that. I just thought it was pretty cool. He didn't go to it just to grow up in Monterrey, Mexico, and not play college football with all these guys that go to these football factories and learn how to get to the NFL, even to just be in a NFL preseason game is amazing, let alone have a chance to make the team. So I just pretty impressed overall with his storyline. I thought it was pretty cool. His dad seemed pretty cool. His mom's, really charismatic. So
Oh,
neat
absolutely.
stuff. Then so and then they went on to they kind of had the scene with introduce you to Amari Cooper, which once they started talking about Amari Cooper, like I know him as a player, but it was funny that I realized like I really didn't even know what he looked like out, under the helmet.
Yeah.
And I didn't know much about him, never really heard his voice. And I, kind of realized to myself how quiet of a player he is off the field. So I really enjoyed what I said in the notes was just getting to meet Amari Cooper and the interaction he had with CD Lamb and things like that. So I don't know, like where do you stand with Amari Cooper as far as that was a big deal when he got traded to the Cowboys. So where do you stand with Amari Cooper right now?
When he first got traded to the Cowboys, that was a big thing because we didn't have any receivers.
That was
Gallus was still
huge.
developing. Like, it was a big plus. Yes, he had the injuries. It's gonna happen. He's gonna fight through some injuries, but he's still one hell of a receiver. He still can one of the best route runners in this game. And the thing that he has onto the team, he brings that veteran leadership to a
I
young
that
receiver.
we've talked about that before, right? Like that
Yeah,
I said those are guys that Dak needs, in his, his circle. And that's what came off to me really well is how we'll say mature because to me these guys are all so young, not to
yeah.
belittle them, but just mature. He seemed professional. I came away like liking him or appreciating him a lot more than I did going into it. I can see how him and Dak just could be a dynamic duo this year, assuming everything works out right. And then another note I put in here, they talked about is it Quan Hardy? Was it Quan?
I think, Jaquan Hasty or something like that.
Yeah. Um I thought they to me, just personally, as just watching the show, I thought I spent a little too much time with him. Nothing against the guy. They went through the whole losing the contact, wearing the rec specs. He doesn't feel like and which is crazy for me to say though, because he went to school at Tiffin. I don't live that far from Tiffin. Like I had friends that went and played college ball at Tiffin when I was younger. So it was pretty cool to see that. But overall, I just it felt like there was a few minutes there that I could have got back with Hardy. I don't know how you felt about it. If you maybe you have more hope for him or care more than I do. I don't know. I know they're trying to get you to buy into a story there, but
Yeah, I definitely think he's a talented player, but how Hard Knocks kind of betrayed him. He was like this clumsy player, the contacts and him tripping over his
yeah,
own
you're
feet. I'm
right.
like, you're kind of disrespecting the man. He's trying to make a living, and y'all make him look like the
No,
goof
that's
troop of the
fair.
group.
That's fair. Like they only showed drop passes. He couldn't get the glasses on right. Contacts falling out. I did like, the interaction with him and the coaches though, because that's what we like about Hard Knocks is seeing what they really say, be, when the cameras aren't on them all the time. So that was pretty cool. But I always feel for these guys because like every pass that bounces off their hands, like that might be what costs them an NFL job, or every fumble, or every he loses a contact, comes out of the game. Maybe he never gets back in a game. Like I you. like you say, they made him look kind of silly, but you have to appreciate what's on the line for these guys. Um, but I just, as far as I just thought we spent a little too much time on it. So here's a question I have for you. We talked about how great this stadium looks. This whole this whole preseason, Dallas has this weird thing of like these established stars for guys that don't have a lot of playoff experience. It's just weird thing that they have. They have all this talent with Zeke and Dak and Cooper and even CD Lamb and Lawrence and all these guys don't play in the preseason, which I'm totally for that. I've never understood. I don't think you need to risk getting players hurt, but they also don't have a ton of like postseason experience. It's just this weird mix. But then sometimes I'm like, do you feel as a fan that with everything they have, state of the art, everything, they got the brand, anything they could need, Jerry worships his players, which I don't think is a great thing as a general manager, but we kind of touched on that. To me, they look too comfortable. Like I don't see the edge or the bite or whatever. Could be the television cameras, but I've said this multiple seasons to where they look too relaxed, too comfortable. They got too much going for them. Just how do you feel as a fan and an analyst about um, the edge that they need to to get where they should go?
It would kinda be nice for them to have some type of grit when it comes to, like,
Does
they live in they're in the star, like, could we take them to, like, a small college where they gotta stay in dorms?
yeah,
That
that's I
that'd be nice.
yeah, I know. I watch it and I'm like that, but then that's what I worry about those like, when you're talking the NFL to where one loss might mean a playoff berth or not, like, is that the difference? I don't know that it is. I've never played NFL football, but I just want to see I think Dak has that. That's what I like about Dak so much in his show. Like it really feel like he has this edge about him and understand. And then and I know it's probably the way they film it, and I've killed him for 2 weeks. It just always feel like Zeke's just kind of like messing around. And I don't know about you, but I'm a little tired of Zeke, running these plays against a defense that's not allowed to tackle him and acting like he broke a 90-yard touchdown. It's I'm like, okay, man, like obviously these guys aren't allowed to take you down. What I mean, I understand you hit the hole, but also the linebacker didn't come up and hit you in the thigh. Yeah. So I don't know if he plays that up for the cameras or if he really thinks that. The non-contact stuff kind of just drives me nuts a little bit, but we'll see when the season starts. I don't know.
Absolutely. I think you'll finally get to see if all those training videos come to fruition when linebackers and defensive line start hitting you. That's what I want to see.
Me
I
too.
everybody looks nice when they training as pro athletes. It's when you
Yeah.
put those pads and helmets on and you're going to get somebody that's not on your side and they can
Yeah.
take
Totally
that's
agree. Totally agree. Another thing I put on there, I know we're going a little long tonight, but it is what it is.
no
The third
worries.
episode. It's our show. We'll do what we want, AB. Um,
Absolutely.
they played the card game. I love this. I love this whole part about the card game. I love the fourth generation cowboy employee was playing with and they brought him in. He's talking smack to Zeke. We got our guy Micah Parsons in once again. Every scene he's in, I love Micah Parsons. And we even talked a little bit this week when I think it was you that posted the highlight of when they lined him up in the A gap in one of the games and actually like what he's doing on the football field. Everything about Micah Parsons just screams like all pro to me. I thought the card game was hilarious, man. Like I think that was a great way to kind of get to know everybody and have a little fun on the show. I thought it was a blast, and I just love the dude talking smack to guys. I'm sure that guy has I never judged, you know, what he does for a living. I'm sure he makes a good living. I'm sure he does an awesome job,
Oh yeah.
but he's sitting there with guys. I don't know, that table's worth, I don't know, $200 million,
That's
and he's just giving it to him. I just thought that I love that scene the most of all, the card game.
that might be the humbling experience right there. That's like how when he was there, he was basically like their younger cool uncle and stuff, talking mess to him. He did not care if they were top pro athletes. He was just like, y'all are nothing but little kids. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna talk my mess. Y'all gonna deal with it, or
My
you
my
put up
favorite
or
part
shut
is
up.
he said, "Don't ever invite me back to this." And they just walked away. I loved it. And you can tell, and I did like that like you could tell, like we've all been in these situations. Like, Zeke was a little angry, but not really angry. But I don't know. I thought that was just a fun. I'm glad they did that.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. So then we get to the preseason game, and it's all about was we know that Dak's not going to play this preseason. So going into this, I knew that I wasn't going to see. So we get to who is is Gabbert the backup quarterback now?
Uh,
Like, is that who
Gabbert,
played the?
it was actually Rush this game. Rush actually showed out this game.
Oh, did he? Okay, okay. So I didn't watch the game, but anyway, they focus so much on when Danucci comes in. This whole
Uh,
thing's about Danucci. Um, Way more Danucci than we needed, but
uh,
that's what the show does. But what I said to you is like compared to like Dak, you realize how good important a quarterback is when you see the difference of how people treat him, how they act about him, just the interceptions, just everything like that's why you pay Dak the money. And that's why Dak means so much to this team.
Absolutely. Like once you lose your quarterback for that long length of time, you start appreciating him. And I think they should have still kept on developing that offensive line because he definitely needs that insurance policy when it comes
Yeah.
to these teams he plays. I feel like they need to continue trying to develop these young guys behind because Tyron Smith and Zach Martin are not getting any younger. Like last 2 years ago, they lost Travis Frederick. Like
Yeah.
they're developing with Tyler Biotis and stuff like that. It's like you gotta keep developing.
That's a good point. I mean, a team like New England, for instance, for years they could always handle offensive line injuries, and that was the key to New England. A guy could come in and they didn't collapse. Like we saw Kansas City do last year, Green Bay even to a certain extent. We've seen that happen to them. Um, you just realize when you see. I'm sure Danucci's the you know where everywhere he's played, it's probably the best quarterback anybody's seen, but the NFL is just a different animal, and it's just it really you realize like yes, absolutely, give Dak everything he wants,
Yeah,
treat him any way he wants to be treated because he is that important to this franchise. We got to see, like I say, we got enough of Dak this week that I felt I got enough. He told he told the story about Halloween, like like I love that when he's like, you never know when that dude puts a blade on a chainsaw. You just never know. Wow. Like I just like his attitude. He's got a practical way of thinking. He's constantly got that chip on his shoulder. Like he's just got this edge to him all the time that I love, in an athlete. So once again, came away really impressed with Dak again. Zeke is what Zeke is. As long as he's in shape, it doesn't matter. Like it's help Dak out, go forward, get your yards, and nobody will care what you're like. You don't have to.
yeah.
A running back doesn't have to have that attitude like Dak has. So that's great. So then my last question, I added this on. Um, okay, so just me personally, my takeaway from CD Lamb is I just don't love him, and I'm not rooting against him. I didn't have him rated as high coming out of Oklahoma as he got
I get
drafted, but I do realize how good he's done. Like I think I could have been wrong about that. I'm not rooting against him, but so here's what I basically said was like he better be really good because he already to me kind of acts like he's one of those guys. Like he acts like he's like Cooper and Dak and Zeke, and like I'm not worried about the preseason. And there's something about him that rubs me the wrong way. Could be the cameras. I don't know. He's obviously talented. I think he'll
right.
do really well. But all I said was he better be really good because he acts like he's already really really good. What do you think about CeeDee Lamb? Am I crazy? You tell me.
Oh, oh, you're you're not crazy. I get what you're saying. I think he absolutely going to be a great receiver in this game, but he put a lot of pressure on himself now. The way he talks and stuff like that. Like
Yeah, that's what
on-
I
once
mean.
you once you're talking like that, you better put your money where your mouth is when you're talking like that. Like if
Yeah,
everybody's gonna go back to how when you were saying this, and if you're not showing out, they're gonna replay this. We're in that type of social media. Like,
Yeah. Well, that's like just for instance, real quick, he was giving Micah Parsons the business about covering him and all this,
mm,
and I'm like, wait a minute. First of all, you've been in the league a year longer than Parsons, and I remember like coming out of college, Parsons is a way better prospect than CeeDee Lamb was. Like, he don't act like Parsons is some guy that they picked up off the practice squad and he's trying to fight his way on. Like, this is a talented player too, and he's only a year a year behind you. I don't know, just something. Once again, I'm judging off the cameras and everything else. CeeDee Lamb, I don't know anything about him. I hope he does great, but it just all I kept thinking was, man, this guy better be good because he's telling everybody he's really good. And that's what I worry about. But as long as he's putting in the work, I mean, him and Cooper working together was really cool. So I thought that was neat. Plus, he's wearing the 88. I mean, that means something.
yeah,
Like
yeah, it's big pressure right there.
you can't be average and wear 88.
That's
But I don't know. To me, he kind of acts like a guy wearing 88 to like a pickup game rather than on the field. So I don't know. It's just that's how I felt so far. But that's what the show's all about is misconceptions. Um, who knows? But he also is poised to have a really great year. From everything you said, but he's just one of those guys that I can tell that Jerry just loves. So I
oh,
wonder if he gets away with a little more than the next guy. I don't know. I might
well,
be crazy. I'm probably crazy.
the thing is, he didn't. He was when he first got drafted by the Cowboys. He was supposed to wear a 10, but Jerry Jones was the one that made sure he wears the number
That's
88.
right. See,
Yeah,
that's just
I wasn't a big fan of that.
no, I'm still not. I'm not even a Cowboys fan, but I know what the number means. I mean, I grew up like I watched, every game, I watched Michael Irvin's career, I watched Dez's career, you know, I so I totally get what you mean there. I do remember that was Jerry's idea, which to wrap it all together, that I question Jerry. I think they just need a little bit of toughness. I think that's it. And and that comes when the bullets start flying in the regular season. These guys might be totally ready for it. They've obviously got the talent, so we'll see. So that's it. We went long tonight, but we had a lot of stuff to discuss. We knew this might happen as as the season gets longer. We've only got 2 episodes left of this. It's been awesome. So AB, tell everybody where they can find you.
Hey, y'all can check me out on Tacos and Touchdowns podcast, and also check out my Twitter at Aaron B 901, all lowercase. That's all I got for right now.
Absolutely. Go follow Aaron B. Follow everybody at offtheballnetwork.com. I'm Jeff from Jeff Needs Sports. This has been 15 minutes ish on Hard Knocks Dallas Cowboys. And we'll talk to everybody next week. Thanks for watching and be kind. Thanks, AB.
No problem.